afternoon. Good afternoon to all of you mates. This is the English literature which is going to be reported by me, Mark Anthony S. Mercado, and together with my partner, Almares Rimuel. Okay, English literature. It is the body of written works produced in the English language by inhabitants of British Isles and including Ireland from the 7th century to the present day. So, ang English literature daw ay lahat ng mga nasulat na or nagawang literature na nakasulat sa English language na ginawa ng mga tao na naninirahan sa British Isles at Ireland from 7th century to the present day. The major literature written in English outside the British Isles are treated separately under American literature, Australian literature, Canadian literature, and New Zealand literature. So yung mga literature na kahit nakasulat sa English language, basta't hindi na-produce ng mga inhabitants sa British, ay tinuturing na different case na yon. Ito ay maaaring under sa American literature, Australian literature, Canadian literature, and New Zealand literature. The history of English literature is spread over different eras, including Old English or Anglo-Saxon, the medieval period, the Renaissance, the Puritan period, period of Classicism, the Romantic period, Victorian period, and modern era. So, mayroong iba't ibang era ang history ng English period. At dadako tayo sa unang period which is the Old English or Anglo-Saxon. Okay. Old English literature, also known or called as Anglo-Saxon literature, encompasses literature written in Anglo-Saxon. In the period after the settlement of the Saxon and Germanic and other Germanic tribes in England after the withdrawal of the Romans and soon after the Norman conquest in 1066. So, ang Anglo-Saxon po ay mga migrants na nagmula sa Northern Europe. At sinasabi sa dito na ang Old English literature ay nagtapos noong 1066 after the Norman conquest. Okay. Then Anglo-Saxon influenced English literature when they brought with them a rich tradition or oral literature steeped in their custom, pagan belief, and rituals. Okay, ang pagan belief or pagans ay mga tao na do not practice Christianity, Judaism, or Islam. So, they are considered na walang religion. So, ang belief nila ay human beings are seen as part of nature along with other animals, trees, stone, plants, and everything else that is from this earth. So, in this period, the lyric and epic poetry they wrote told of the hardship or survival of the importance of courage, performing heroic deeds. It dignified the difficulties and dangers faced by the warriors before they succeed in their heroic tales. So, ang laganap na genre ng literature dito ay lyric and epic poetry. So this is the significant literary of in this period. We have the Wanderer, Deor's Lament, A Dream of the Rood, The Battle of Maldon, Anglo-Saxon Chronicles. This literature is the single most important source for the history of England. In Anglo-Saxon times, it is the chronological account of event in Anglo-Saxon and Norman England. A compilation of 7 surviving interrelated manuscript record that is the primary source for the early history of the England. Then the last significant literary works are Beowulf. This is an epic story. It tells a poem depicting the life and feats of Beowulf. He is brave legendary warrior who conquers beasts and help people in it throughout the story. It is considered to be one of the most significant pieces of old English literature. Then the genre in this period includes epic poetry, hagiography, legal works, chronicles, and riddles. Ang hagiography po ay is a type of biography that puts the subject in a very flattering light. It is also often about saints. Then the medieval period. Katulad nga sabi kanina na ang Old English period ay nagtapos noong 1066 after the Norman Conquest. So pagkatapos na nag-umpisa ang medieval period. After the Norman Conquest, many Anglo-Saxon nobles were disposed and a new French-speaking, which is Anglo-Norman aristocracy came to power. Of course, this cultural shift did not occur in all places overnight. However, over time, the Norman nobles cultivated a taste for continental style of literature. So, ang kanilang mga nagustuhang mga general literature ay courtly love, romance, and the matter of Arthur, while older fashions such as Germanic heroic literature fell into disuse. Then later in this period, speakers saw the rise of a more standard form of English, based primarily upon the dialects of London. Meanwhile, many authors wrote in French because it was the prestige language of the court, such as Marie de France, or also known as Lays and Fables, and Ways, also known as Brot. Middle English lasts up until 1470s, when Chancery Standard, a form of London-based English, became widespread and printing press regularized the language. The prolific Geoffrey Chaucer, whose works were written in Chancery Standard, was the first poet to have been buried in poet corners of Westminster Abbey. Among his work is the Book of Duchess, The House of Fame, and The Legend of Good Woman. Mr. Chaucer is best known today for the Canterbury Tales. So most of the genera during this period are elegy, religious liturgy, narrative romance, lays or lies, Arthurian romance, and Flaviao. Ang Flaviao po ay tawag dito isang genre na kung saan gumagamit ng metrical tale or short metrical tale made popular in medieval France by the jongleurs or professional storytellers. The next ay mga literary works of this period. The first one is Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, Morte d'Arthur by Sir Thomas Malory, The Vision of the Pious Lowman by William England. This is poem about a poet who tries to find out what it means to be a true Christian and lead a true Christian life. Then The Owl and the Nightingale, then Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer. The story of this literature is about a group of pilgrims traveling from London to Canterbury to visit the Holy Shrine of St. Thomas Becket. This is a story of ito ay story na may iba't ibang story ng iba't ibang characters, and each of the pilgrim takes a turn as a storyteller with a backquent promise to the person who tells the best tales. Then after that, ito nga po si Geoffrey Chaucer. He is considered as the father of English literature, outstanding in English poet before William Shakespeare, whose Canterbury Tales ranks as one of the greatest poetic works in English. His first important poem, the Book of Duchess, a dream vision of elegy for Blanche, Duchess of Lancaster, who died for a plague. Then after that, we have the English Renaissance or the Elizabethan period, the most splendid in the history of English literature. Literature of this period were characterized by immense vitality and richness. The flowering of poetry and the golden age of drama, the most noted poet of the period was William Shakespeare. Queen Elizabeth, the most regal monarch at the age of monarchy, was the key figure influencing the life of her constituent. She was a great advocate of peace and order. This period is considered as the golden age of literature. The reason why it is considered the golden age of literature in England because the Renaissance period is the period of English history when Queen Elizabeth I ruled England. This era is considered, like I said, is the golden age because it was a time of immense progress, stability, and national pride. Also, it refers to a period when great activity in the field of the arts and science take place and which great works were accomplished. So, yun ang dahilan kung bakit ito naging golden age. So, next ay significant events in this period. The first one is 1942, which is the discovery of American, and because of this discovery, a new or an opening of entirely new world has give the England many possibilities. Then in 1534, the Act of Supremacy, the sundering of the English Church from Rome. Acts of Supremacy are two acts passed by the Parliament of England in the 16th century that established the English monarch as the head of the Church of England. So, and the next one is the 1558, the accession of Elizabeth I, the beginning of an age of comparative toleration. Then after that is the gradual appearance of several literary features. Number one, there was an increase in the number of translation, such as the North translation of Plutarch's Lives in 1579, Byers, which is 1588, Golding's Bird in 1565, and Chapman Homer's in 1595. This translation opened out a new realms of wonder and romance. And dahil sa mga translation to, nakapag-provide to ng reference para sa creative writing of Englishman. Then number two, a lyrical impulse, strong and sweet began or pervade English literature. Most of the greater poets contributed to the poetry of time. Number three, drama assumed a commanding position in the writing of the day. William Shakespeare rose to fame and honor. So, sa drama nga, kilala naman natin si William Shakespeare. Siya yung gumawa or nagsulat ng isa sa mga sikat na ginagamit sa teatro na palabas katulad ng Romeo and Juliet. Then, number four, the technique of poetry, the skills and the management of meter show great advancement. Then, number five, the rise of prose writing. There was vast travel of body literature. There was even an approach to prose fiction. Then, after that, in the next slide is some significant literary works in this period. Number one is Fairy Queen, Shepherd's Calendar by Edmund Spenser. Number two, Law of Ecclesiastical Polity by Richard Hooker. Number three, Book of Martyrs by John Fox. Then number four, Musophilus by Samuel Daniel. Number five, The Nymph's Reply to the Shepherd by Walter Raleigh. Number six, William Shakespeare's work. So the significant genre within this period are sonnet, Elizabethan lyrics, Elizabethan drama, historical poem, and pastoral romance. So si William Shakespeare po, he was an English playwright, poet, and actor, and is widely considered the greatest dramatist of all time, as well as the most influential writer in the history of the English language. So ito yung kanyang mga nasulat na literary. All Wealth That Ends Well, As You Like It, The Comedy of Errors, King John, The Tempest, Hamlet, Othello, the sonnets, a lover complaint. Then after the Renaissance is the 17th century of the Puritan period. The 17th century is considered as the period of dissension and calamity. Catastrophe struck Britain. The Civil War, the Black Plague, the Great Fire of London disrupted the otherwise orderly existence of the English people. Literature was permitted by the light-hearted cavalier of the Solemn Puritans. So,
excuse.
yes. Bakit may?
Para ako nang pinurupod niyan.
Ikaw na ga. Sige.
Good afternoon, everyone. The 17th century or the Puritan period, 1625 to 1700s. During that time, yung panahon kung saan tumama ang mga sakuna, the catastrophe struck Britain, the Civil War, the Black Plague. Yung Black Plague na tinatawag is yung pandemic sa panahon ngayon, kung tawagin. During that time is the result of by infection with the bacterium Yersinia pestis of London and the Great Fire of London disrupted otherwise orderly existence of the English people. Literature was fermented by the hatred cavalier of the Solemn Puritans na ingatan maigi ng mga kabalyero of the Solemn Puritans yung literature ng mga panahong nangyayari yung mga sakuna. The period of dissension and calamity. Wait pa next. Significant literary work during this period. Aerophytica by John Melton, Devotion by John Donne, Relio Medici by Thomas Brown, History of Henry II by Francis Bacon, works by Ben Jonson, The Garden by Andrew Marvell. During that time, the significant literary genre within this era are restoration comedy and tragedy, metaphysical poetry, false pendaric or irregular ode, and light prose. Wait pa next. The 18th century or the period of classicism, 1700 to 1800. Downing the age of reason. The London became the center of bustling city life. Literary masters have their crafts and have written with sophistication and fineness. Prose writing become popular. Nakilala nung mga panahon yun yung prose. And the period became the origin what we known as clarity as the public. During that time, na-clarify na ng publiko and ng mga panahon yun ay na-accept na din yung prose writing. Pare. Significant literary work during this period. The London Merchant by George Lillo, Conscious Lovers by Richard Steele, The Fair Penitent, The Tragedy by the Jane Shore, The Tragedy of Lady Grey by Nicholas Rowe, The Red Mother by Ambrose Bierce, Cato by Joseph Addison, West Indian by Richard Cumberland, The Stoop to Conquer by Oliver Goldsmith, The Rival, Skull by Richard Bradley Sheridan. Wait pa next. Literary genre in this period are opera, ballad opera, pantomime, and last week is the prose tragedy. golden age of the lyric poetry belongs to the youth. The literature of vigor and courage, love and wisdom, despair and hope. And romantic poets pointed to the wild and unquenchable beauties of nature, the elusive supernatural beauties, vision of mystics, and mysterious atmosphere of religion that had is such a celestial about Middle Age. A romantic period was produced during the reign of Victoria Queen. Ang romantic period is gumagamit ng themes such as nature, pastoral life, medievalism, and supernaturalism. Romantic poetry admire nature and gave prominence to emotion and spontaneity. Wait pa next. Literary works during this period. Society by Thomas W. R. Robertson, Windowers, House by George Bernard Shaw, Lady Windermere, Fun by Oscar Wilde, The Second Mrs. Chang Kuei by Arthur Pine Pinheiro, Song of Innocence and Experience by William Blake, Lyrical Ballads by William Wordsworth and Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Other significant literary works during this period are Prometheus Unbound by Percy Shelley, To Speak on a Grecian Ura to a Nightingale by John Keats, Childe Harold, Don Juan by Lord Byron, Sense and the Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice, Mansfield Park, Persuasion by Jane Austen. There is two literary genre that was significant during this period. First is historical couplet. Ang historical couplet po is yung affair of and rhyme line of verse that are self-contained and grammatical structure meaning. And historical novel naman po is yung a novel that has its setting a period of history and that attempts to convey the spirit, manners, and social condition of a stage with a realistic detail. The period. Victor became Queen of England in 1870 after the death of Coleridge and the 13 years before the death of Wordsworth. She reigned, nanatili siyang reyna nung till her own death 901. The reign in England of comparable length is that Elizabeth Victorian had named for her. Sorry. The keynote of the 1851, was the 1851 Great Exhibition sa London. A triumph display extended to illustrate the superiority of England's scientific, social, and technological achievements. Also called the Crystal Palace Exhibition. The Great Exhibition was a symbol of a Victorian age, and the aim of this are to show the technology was the key to a better future. Wait pa next. Significant literary works during this period. The Pickwick Papers, Oliver Twist, David Copperfield, A Tale of Two Cities, Great Expectation by Charles Dickens, Vanity Fair by William Makepeace Thackeray, Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan, The Last Chronicle of Barset, Barchester Towers, The Warden by Gray by Anne Bronte, John Eyre by Charlotte Bronte of the Kings in Memoriam by Alfred Lord, and The Cry of the Children by Elizabeth. Significant literary genre in this period are novels, magazine, serial, and dramatic dialogue. Century or the modern period, 1900 up to present. Literature period exemplifies improve the crafts of masters. The novel has flourished and writer has risen not only to popularity but distinction as well. Emerging values of the modern times are embodied in the works of the authors who defy the convention of the old world. Is for advancement, while orthodox beliefs are considered standards criteria for excellence. The emerging needs for a radical changes become the order of the day. Of this period, Jude the Obscure Far, Maddening Crowd, The Dynas, The Return of Native by Thomas Hardy, The Tower, The Winding Stair by W. Yeats, The Lyrical Ballads of William Wordsworth and Samuel Taylor Coleridge, The Almir's Folly, The Niger of the Narcissus by Joseph Conrad, Howard and A Passage to India by E.M. Foster, The Voyage Out, Night and Day, says Dalloway to the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf, A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man by James Joyce. Sons and Lovers by The Rainbow, The Lady Chatterley Lover by D.H. Lawrence, Modern Comedy Swan Song, The Man of Property, The White Monkey, The Silver Spoon by John Galsworthy, The Aegeus Beauchamp Career by George Meredith, Captain Courageous Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling, and the significant literary genre in this period are novel and blank verse.